are gone, okay, so let's go to sleep. So next day morning, we woke up and we found that Kapil Dev, India's captain that time, had scored a superlative 175 and he had achieved something which we never thought of. It was very great for people like us cricket fans because till that time nobody from India actually even scored a century, and he was one guy who was gone and probably beaten the highest landmark and runs in one-day internationals. Why I call this as my first experience in disruption was, till that time, not only was India a very non-considered nation in cricket from a playing terms, but also from the financial muscles, the media rights, whatever controls cricket, India was nowhere. Within a period of 2-3 years after this happened, today if you see, we control everything in the cricket world. Whether it is media rights, whether it is BCCI is the most powerful cricketing body in the world, they decide what is the schedule to be run, who plays where, what, everything is in India's control. So for me, this is when this change started. The disruption, the first disruption that I really experienced. Okay, from there, we have grown to IPL. Now, coming to IPL, this is, I think, another very innovative product which has come out. I'm using these kind of examples because I think, as youngsters, you will relate more to these kind of things. I remember this IPL started in 2008, and I was in Taraska at that point of time, and we had just launched our product, and we were figuring out how do you, it was a new product at that point of time, and how do you ensure that people become aware about your product? And the rights or advertising and all was very cheaply available in the first version of IPL. And I remember marketing head saying, we really don't think it makes sense to invest in IPL. And we had a Hrithik Roshan movie which had come out at that time. I really can't recollect the names. And we decided to invest in that. And today, when you look back, most of the companies which actually come out for the first time look at IPL to really launch their product. You have, let's say, 229 million only on a Lydia. You already have similar numbers on digital. So around 500 million people watching IPL. 2,000 to 3,000 of ad revenues in just 45 days. It's something which can't be imagined. And what that has led to is you have so much of leagues which have come out because of its success. Even in India, you have the football league, the ISL, which is equally popular, the Kabaddi league, which is equally popular. And now if you look at it, every country is trying to do what we have done here. You have ILT, which has come out in Dubai. You have South African league, which has got started today. So, small things. And how was IPL really successful? They packaged the product very innovatively. A few weeks back, my elder daughter is probably slightly younger to you guys. So she never watches cricket, doesn't follow sports at all. So and I'm a cricket fan, so I keep watching all these games that are playing. I think Gautam Gambhir was doing an analysis of, I think, India, Bangladesh match or something like that. So I just asked her, like all fathers, we like to ask these questions to our kids. Do you know who this is? So I was surprised. She said, no, he was KKR captain, he has won the trophy 2 times. So that is the success of IPL. People who were not interested in sports, people who are not even following sports, today watch that to at least some extent. 40% of the viewership of IPL is ladies who are, or females who are not considered as people who follow sports as aggressively as men. Okay. Now I'll take you through a go-to-market strategy that I had personally experienced, and take you through how these small innovations which I was talking about actually happen when you are working on such projects. So I was fortunate to be part of one of the retail forays of one of India's biggest business groups, which was in retail, petroleum retail. Okay, this would have been some 18 years back. So when this was started out, till that time, what was being followed by the existing players was, you would just go and open as many outlets as you want. Open outlets everywhere and then try and gain market share. So when we were making the business plan for this project, the thought was, how do you get market leadership with minimum number of outlets? And how do you get market share in fuel retailing industries? By attacking the biggest guzzler, which was diesel. And if you had to attack diesel, you would have to ensure you are the market leader in big truckers. The truckers are the volume guzzlers. They are the people who fuel because they keep on running. So how did we go about doing it? So there were 2 people whom we identified who were critical, when you were trying to work out on some innovative packaging for the product. One was actual truck drivers who actually drive these trucks, and second was the truck owners. So how do you understand what is a pattern of a truck driver? So I remember this was the time when Tata had come out with his first passenger car, the Indica. And my wife used to joke, you were actually married to the Indica because 18, 20 hours I would be in the Indica only. And what would we do? We would be following these truckers. So one truck would leave from Delhi on the Jaipur road, we would follow the trucker for 3 hours, 4 hours. Nothing, we just want to see what is his driving pattern. Next day we would follow a trucker on the Haryana highway for 4 hours, 5 hours just to see what will happen. And next day the UP, I'm just giving you an example of what you should have. The idea behind was that there is a pattern in which these people follow. And what we found out was, normally what all of these people do is because there are a lot of restrictions in major cities for trucks to drive during the day. So they will fill up their load, come out during the end of the day, drive for maybe an hour or so to the outskirts of the city. They will stop there, rest for some time, have their food, maybe sleep also, and 99% of the time they would fuel from that place and then drive throughout the night. So if your outlet had to be successful, you had to place that outlet in that catchment area. We call it as catchment area in retail. In those places where they're actually going to stop for having their food and taking a nap and things like that. So this was one of the major reasons why we had a lot of pricing issues and which is still going on today. But as soon as we launched, within a period of 2 years, we were market leaders in whichever market we were representing. Second was, like I said, stakeholder is the trucker, truck owners. And truck owners, if you see, it's very fascinating. These people are clustered into different places. We have a lot of truck owners in Punjab, we have a lot of truck owners in Salem, in Tamil Nadu. Some places where you have 500, 600 truck owners who are built. So one of the biggest problems these people had at that point of time was, there was no way that they could get, stay in touch with these drivers. It was not the time of broadband and internet, and even mobile telephony was a big thing at that, and GPS was unheard of at that point of time. So the truck would probably leave his place and travel for 45 days, 50 days and come back after so much of time. So it was almost so impossible for the owner to have a track on this guy, Where is he fueling? Is he really fueling what he's telling? How do you ensure that he has cash for the entire journey? Giving him so much of cash is another risk. So this cash management and having an idea of what he's really doing was the second major thing that we identified. Okay, then we innovated with products on these two things, and that is how we became successful. Now, like I think what Sir was also covering, now when you try to innovate on something, how do you actually decide where do I start off? That's the most difficult thing. And so I would say one of the if somebody has a question on, somebody has an idea, how do you ensure that it gets the right funding or it becomes successful? So I would suggest this is something which I do personally, and I think this is something well written off also, which is called as the jobs to be done. In jobs to be done, what it means is every person has a requirement. For example, if I have to go to office today, my requirement is to reach office as fast as possible with least disturbance. So I can drive to my office, but then I have a parking problem. I have to find a parking place. I have to park it, maybe 1 kilometer away, which is a pain for me. So if I can take an Uber, which is readily available, is something very convenient for me. So my need at that point of time is to reach my office very comfortably with least pain in the least period of time. So this should be one of the, what often happens when we design products and services is, we think of things from our perspective. But then our perspective might not be what the customer really wants. So let us look at what is the job that the customer wants to do. What is that he wants out of that product? What is that he wants out of that service? And if you can look at that way and design it, the chances of success are more. Let me just bring in another story. I like, being in sales, I like talking, giving more and more stories. So sometimes, the same product can also serve two different jobs to be done. For example, I remember when I started working in the mid-90s, I was based out of Bangalore, and we used to stay in Indiranagar, which is that point of time a quite residential neighborhood. Today it's the most happening place in the city. So we used to take a bus around 8 o'clock. This was a place which was filled with bachelors like us, just in the early 20s, just started working. So none of us used to make breakfast at home. So we had to, what used to happen is there were some 2 or 3 restaurants over there who had fantastic restaurant halls, AC halls and all that. But what they had also done was, they had also brought out these stand-in counters, where they would have some 3-4 products available. You would have a masala dosha. Since from the south, I'll be able to give you what was really there from the south perspective. Or you had idlis, or you had puri and all, which is readily available. You would go there, it would be immediate. In 5 minutes you can get it, 5 minutes you can have it and catch your bus. So as a customer, what was my need at that point? What jobs to be done? What was my job to be done at that point of time? Was to ensure that I could have breakfast as quickly as possible so that I could catch my 8 o'clock bus. I need to have something which was filling so that it lasted till afternoon, because we never had cafeterias and things in office like what we have today. So going out and having stuff was not possible. But it had to be by budget also. So what these restaurant people had done at that point, innovatively they understood what was the job to be done for all those youngsters who were staying in the neighborhood and come out this stand-in. So why I was saying was, now every 2 or 3 weeks I used to go home. We used to go out with family, my sister, my parents and all that. We used to go to a nice restaurant. We used to still order masala dosha and have masala dosha, but this time in a very different way. You will order, he will take 10 minutes to bring it for you. It will probably be much bigger. He will keep serving you chutney, and it is a different experience. Because my jobs to be done at that point of time is to spend time with family, have a good time, chit chat, enjoy the ambience. So the jobs to be done is very different. So what I was trying to drive home here was the same product was masala dosha only, but under different situations, it is making different jobs to be done of different situations. Now coming to types of innovation, this has some water.